Awesome.
Good morning, Luke.
Good
It's
morning.
Steph. Hi. So you
Hi.
got in, I see.
Yes,
And
yep,
I did allow participants to share their screen.
okay,
So you should be able to.
all right. I am just sharing up my PowerPoint.
There it is.
Okay, perfect.
So we'll just let people in. It's recording right now. So
Okay.
anything that we're doing, it'll be recorded. As you can probably understand, our staff is limited to the amount of time they can actually be away from the clients.
Right,
So even though there might not be a lot on here, there will be a lot that will access this.
okay. And my PowerPoint, I'll probably go through just a few things and then we'll, there'll be a few screens I'll skip through. So we'll just
Okay.
kind of make it a little briefer.
Yeah, and that's fine. I think we'll wait until a few minutes after 10, but we'll get you started. I'll give them a couple more minutes and then we'll just get started.
Okay.
Two four zero, clearance report. Stop loss.
Three zero seven check.
Go ahead.
George Robert Edward 070 28 Louisiana.
28 Louisiana, 701.
Luke, we'll give it one more minute and then we'll go
Yeah.
ahead and start.
Okay.
Okay, everyone that's joined us right now, I appreciate you taking some time or finding some time. Again, this is being recorded and this is something that we will offer to staff to watch when they have time and not in group. I'd like to introduce Officer Ellison. He was nice enough to come and walk around our women's facility. So he has a sense of what we're working with or what we have. And I'm going to turn it over to him and we'll just get going. Thank you, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me. And I guess I'll start off with, this is a active shooter safety conversation. It is not a conversation that is, a lot of people don't like to have, and I understand that, but it's a conversation I think that I have with a lot of businesses, a lot of schools. Our schools do a lot of drills just on this conversation that we'll have. And like I said, it's an uncomfortable one, but it's one that I think if we have, it puts it in your head. And this isn't to scare you. This isn't to, make you, feel insecure. It's more to just be aware of your surroundings, be aware of the situations that you're in, so that if something does happen, that you're able to react. And so with that, we'll kind of start off a little bit. There's some screens I'll skip through, but if you have any questions or anything like that, please just let me know, interrupt me, not a big deal, and I'll answer those questions for you. I'll start off with, as I said, I'm Officer Ellison, Luke Ellison with the St. Louis Park Police Department. I've been on for about 22 years and going on my 23rd year, 15 years on our SWAT team. And about 15 years, I was a reserve coordinator and then did 1 year of investigations. I didn't, not happy with it wasn't for me, investigation. So I got out pretty quick. And then I've been giving this presentation for about 4 years or so. And I give it to any business in St. Louis Park, any of the schools that do that. Right now, I'm a school resource officer for Benilde, the Jewish community, and Girls Academy, kind of the private schools. So, and we do in the schools, we do active shooter drills, and they call it Alice. So that's just a little about me and my credentials. I'm not an expert on this, but what I do is I go off experience. We've had some in St. Louis Park here, a couple experiences that I've been involved in, and I'll share those later with you. And this is just to help you guys while you're working. Keep in mind of your your surroundings and the situations that are occurring. Just a little disclaimer: not everything is provided in this presentation is applicable to every facility, meaning that every building's different, every situation's different, schools, businesses, and this is just intended to provide guidance, enhance plans, and then make sure that you follow your policy and your procedures of your company. Our department has about 60 sworn officers. Just to let you know, yep, we like donuts. We do. Somebody put that in there for me. Patrol, investigations, outreach, schools, drug task force, and technology is what that consists of 60 sworn officers. So active shooter. And people are going to ask, what is an active shooter? An active shooter is an individual actively engaged in killing or attempting to kill people in a confined space or populated area. Active shooter, there's only one thing. They're not there to take hostages. They're not there to do this or do that. They're only one thing to do there to do, and that is to kill. So that being said, excuse me. With that being said, if somebody's coming in active shooter, a lot of these, their intent is to kill, and they'll kill anybody that's in their way. So they may be after one person, they may not, but they are, if you're in their way, they don't care. They're the intent to kill, and they move. So if you barricade yourself in a room, which we'll go over later, is that you were found that they're not there to unlock doors and break doors down and get the people. They just keep moving. They're frequently moving, going and just shooting anybody that's in their way or finding what they're looking for. So they will continue to move throughout the building until they're stopped by law enforcement, suicide, or other interventions. I wanted to show this stat really quick to you. This is a stat in 2014 where our mass shootings, there was 269. And as you can see this chart, it goes up, down, and then it goes back up. In 2020, we had 578 mass shootings. And then so far this year, in 2021, we have 420, 420 some mass shootings. And that's just, we're not even done. We're about 3 months left. And that's throughout the whole United States. I am getting these stats from the FBI. I go to the website and look at the FBI website. These are the stats that are given. The definition of a mass shooting could be, it varies between, FBI will say up to 2 people that were shot or killed, and some people will say 3 to 4 people. And that's why there's so many mass shootings. It doesn't mean it has to be in a building. It doesn't have to be in a school. It could be in a house. It could be in a park. It could be anywhere a mass shooting could be. Active shooter incidents. You guys remember there's that shooting in, according to FBI, there's 2016, 17, it's a few years back, there was 50 incidents, 21 states, 221 killed, 722 injured, and 13 officers killed, 20 officers injured. And that's just some stats on male, female, the ages, what they had for their armor, and how many committed suicide after the shootings, and how many were taken out by the police. 8 shooters were stopped by citizens, and then 18 shooters apprehended by police. 2018, you can see that there was 323 mass shootings. There was 387 killed, and the injured were about 1,274. That is just saying there's almost 1 person killed a day. According to that, doesn't mean there is 1 person killed a day, but there's a lot of people that are injured and killed by these mass shootings that seem to be happening more and more. This is 2019. There was 435 mass shootings. You can see the number went up for deaths and then wounded. 2020, 615, and total deaths were 521, and then it shows the number wounded, 2,500. That's a lot, and that's just 2020. And then 2021, as I said, I haven't updated this yet, but when I looked just a little bit ago on the FBI site, we were up to 420 some mass shootings, which is a lot. And that's why I'm saying that a lot of people say, hey, this can't happen, or won't happen in my business or my, where I live or where I'm at. And unfortunately, I'm just saying that this can happen anywhere, and it does happen anywhere. And with the job that you guys do and your clientele, there's maybe a bigger risk just because, you don't know who is looking for who or what has happened in the past, but it's just something that you have to be aware of in your job. Minnesota incidents. I went back in 2016. We had 10 people were stabbed inside the St. Cloud Mall, if you guys remember that. And that brings me up to something real quick, that a mass shooting doesn't mean always that it's a gun. It can be a knife. We've had incidents with a knife here in St. Cloud and then also at the Mall of America. So it doesn't have to be just a gun. It can be any kind of other weapon. Yet the 2 people were shot at the Dollar Tree store in Burnsville. 5 people were shot, 4 injured, mass shooting firm in Minneapolis. And at that time, I think we're at this time still, this is the biggest mass shooting that we've had in Minnesota, is the September 27th, that shooting in Minneapolis at that firm. What that was that there was a gentleman that was going to be fired. He knew he was going to be fired, and he went into there and shooting everybody in there. So when I talk about these mass shootings, it doesn't mean that there's always somebody outside or anybody. It can be somebody, an employee. It can be an employee that's having a bad time or going through a bad situation. So there's a lot of scenarios, a lot of things that can trigger these mass shootings. Ricori, Cold Springs, there was a school shooting. Our latest one, as you guys all know, is the one up in Buffalo at the clinic. That was our latest mass shooting. That's showing the clinic there. Just a little bit about that guy, if you guys didn't know. He was a guy that was, he's 67 years old, seeking treatment from the center. Didn't believe he was getting the proper treatment from the center. Obviously just got agitated for being put on hold, being told no, he couldn't do that, and decided that he was just going to take it out on there, and planned this event at the clinic, and that included explosives. So the police had contact with them, the clinic had contact with them, knew that he was irritated, just didn't know that he had broken, and this was the things he was going to do. Fairview Southdale, that just happened probably about a year ago. If you guys remember that, I was there on that one. Basically 2 people trying to rob a guy or a doctor and carjack him, and shot him in the head. And then we weren't sure if he went in the hospital, but it was a long night there, and we determined that he did not get in the hospital through footage, which was good because that would have been a long search. But we did end up catching him, I think, about 2 or 3 days later. These are just a couple incidents of active shooters in workplaces. This was in 2012. Another group in 2015. This is an active shooter at the airport. I want to show you this This is a short video. This video doesn't show anything graphic, but it is still disturbing. So just to give you guys a heads up. Let's see here.
Hi. I'd like to reuse my plate, so I'm gonna take that from you, ma'am.
Here's the video. So the purpose of this video is I wanted to show you is that these guys aren't in an airport. So this is a baggage claim. So you're coming off a vacation, or coming from business, wherever it may be, you're unaware, don't believe that it's going to happen right there. If you look at this video again, I'll play it one more time. I want you to watch the people that react and where they hide and how they hide. You're going to see one lady that literally hides behind a push cart that does her no good, but she believes it's going to protect her. You're going to see another couple where actually you give credit to the guy, the husband kind of protects his wife. So there's a lot of, just watch what these people's reaction does, and then just something to think about. And like I said, these guys had no idea. Just walking, nobody knew anything. This guy just didn't know it. He had no plan, no specific person. He's just shooting. But if you watch these people, you see how the one lady hides behind here. These people are ducking. He's pulling his wife behind there. It's just, no, you're not prepared. If you're not prepared, you don't know what to do. And that's your reaction is, hiding behind something that's not going to help you. It doesn't have to be shooting, as we said, the St. Cloud stabbing, the Mall of America stabbing. And it's just the simple questions. What would you do? Is there a policy for your business, your workplace? Do you know it? And, do you guys go over it regularly? There's a video I want to show you. There's 2 videos and they're about 5 minutes long each. This one that I'm going to show you here is one that's shown nationally. It is a little outdated, but it's still a really good video. And I want you to watch this about 4 to 5 minutes. And then we'll talk about that. I have another one really quick too. It's a short one, but this is a good video, and just watch that and we can ask questions afterwards. Are you guys hearing the sound of that?
No, I'm not hearing a sound.
All right. We had it all set up. We had the sound. I don't know why. I apologize. Nothing still?
Yeah, I still don't hear
Okay.
anything. We can watch it and get a sense of
Yeah.
it. but-
Yeah, if you want, and then there's another one. I'll get the video up on that really quick.
Okay.
If you watch this really quick, I'm just gonna step a second away and I'm gonna grab my IT guy because we had it going before. I don't know why it's not working out. But as
Okay.
you watch this is 2 minutes. So I'll be right back.
All right, so we have to wait for it to be over so we can stop it. Let's stop the sharing. Let's stop the sharing.
Okay.
Let's stop the sharing.
Okay. 1 second, we're just gonna get the sound here. Let's just hear sounds on.
Okay, that's great. Thanks.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
We had it set up this morning and tested it.
Yeah, since Zoom has been influencing our lives, everybody has that. So you're fine.
The video, so down. Right there. No more. There, that one. Yep.
The one with,
Yep. This is the sound on the bottom.
yeah, that one, because
Okay.
it's not embedded, it's the browser,
Alright.
but here's what we
I'll
can
do,
do.
no, we'll just do the next one. That's fine.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you the next one here that has sound.
Okay, sounds good.
And then this was the one. So this one, the first one that you saw was more like a business thing. This is gonna be for, like, this is a newer updated one from the FBI that is gonna be, basically it shows them out in public. And that's another thing to want you guys to focus on, is that it doesn't just have to be in your workplace. It's anywhere you guys go or anything that you do, you know, the movie theater, a restaurant, this is something that can happen. And that is something that you should, you know, still think about when you're out in public. But this is also something to help, same thing when you're at the workplace. So. Yep. Yeah, no sound. Oh, that's the
The
old
one
one.
embedded one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so did you want to go to the next
Yep.
one? Oh. There we go.
All right.
Hi, can I get you started with drinks?
Oh, I'm sorry, I gotta take this.
We'll need a minute.
Seriously, no, I'm here. You hear me? Sorry, sir.
Hey, you need to back up. You can't be here anymore. Get out of my face, what, man. You think I'm afraid of you? Get off, man. 911, there's a clip.
Running makes you harder to hit and improves your chances of survival. Don't go up here.
Police, where is he?
By the bar, blue jeans, black shirt. Empty hands up, follow their instructions.
I'm in the direct line of fire if I head for either exit, but I have other options to help me survive. Guys, come in here. Come on. Go, go, go. Lock and barricade the door.
Both my exits are blocked by the shooter. I gotta stay hidden. I'm no victim. I'm ready for this.
He's applying direct pressure to the wound to stop the bleeding until we can find a tourniquet. In the meantime, turn off your phones and make a plan to defend yourself.
fight to survive. If you control the weapon, you control the shooter. I'll go for the gun. He'll go for his arms. The bartender will go for the head.
Where is he?
We got him right here.
Please, show me your hand.
Over here.
You can survive a mass shooting if you're prepared. Remember, run, hide, or fight. Run. Wherever you go, be aware of alternate exits. Quickly and cautiously evacuate in a direction away from the attacker. Don't hesitate. Seconds matter. Remember windows and emergency exits. Leave belongings behind. Keep your empty hands raised and clearly visible when exiting a building. Follow all instructions from the police. Don't stop until you're sure you've reached a safe location. Hide. If there is no safe escape route, find a good hiding place. Lock and barricade the door. Silence cell phones. Prepare a defense plan. Fight. Fight only as a last resort. Use available objects as improvised weapons. Use teamwork and surprise. A coordinated ambush can incapacitate an attacker. You're fighting for your life. Don't fight fair. Stop the bleed. A victim can die of uncontrolled blood loss in 5 minutes or less. Apply pressure or a tourniquet to control severe bleeding. Go to fbi.gov/survive to learn more.
So as you can see, it's not a comfortable video to watch, but it makes you aware. I want you guys to be aware of your surroundings, wherever you're at. And like I said, we're not here to scare you. I'm not here to make you worry. It's just, I want it in, the head saying, if this was to happen, what would I do? And like they said, if you're unprepared, that's when, the worst can happen. What I practice, like I said, is run, hide, fight. And Leslie said, if there's an accessible escape path, attempt to evacuate the premise. So if you safely, or you can do that without harm's way, then do that. If you're not able to run and get out, then you hide. And I took a tour of your facility, and you have a lot of rooms in there. I mean, it's a very big space with a lot of rooms, a lot of closets, a lot of locked doors. And if that's where you have to go, that's where you go. You go into one of those rooms and you lock it, and then you barricade it. Even though the door is locked and he may try to get in, but if you barricade it, it makes it even harder for anyone to get in. And then the last resort is, if you encounter this person, fight. Put it in your head, you're going to survive. That's what we tell each other here. Is what we tell everybody, is that just be positive. You will fight. You'll come out of that situation alive. And like I said, that's we'll talk about a little bit what you want to use if you're in a fight. You want to call 911. You may get put on hold because the operators are taking other calls and they're talking to them. If you do get hold of them, they're going to ask you really specific questions. Where your location, how many people, what did you see, how many shooters, what the threat was. And they're going to ask you a lot of questions. And I know it's going to sound like they're asking you for a book, but these are questions that they need to get to us so that when we get there, we know what we're dealing with. And I understand at the same time, that's going to be really, really hard for you guys to do that, because you're going to be scared. You're kind of going to be caught in that deer in headlights kind of a situation, but just do your best and just be prepared that these are going to ask a lot of questions. So as the law enforcement role you saw in that last video, as they came out, the two cops were pointing at a gun, and she was an innocent victim. We don't know who was who. In the past in California, when they had that shooting, excuse me, down in Florida, when they had that shooting, the suspect blended in with the students. He put a sweatshirt on, a backpack, and went out the line with his hands up. It wasn't until a student pointed out the suspect said, "That's the guy who shot," and that's how they caught him, is because the student was able to, a couple of people were able to point out, said, "No, he's not us. He's the suspect." So just listen to, the law enforcement roles to immediate response to stop the active shooter. As you also saw in that last video, the cops went in and there was a guy looking that had been shot and he's asking for help. It seems like, don't take that as we don't care. Our main thing is to get in and get the shooter and stop that threat. So we will walk over, bodies, we'll walk over people that are shot or asking for help. And that is until that threat is stopped. And that is just our main goal. It was kind of proven in the Columbine shooting in school, where the cops waited outside for more officers. They waited, and they started helping victims. And as they're doing that, that suspect was still harming other people. So that's why we kind of go in first to make sure to stop that threat, so other people don't get harmed. The first officer arrived, the scene will not stop to help injured people because their first priority is to stop the threat. So I'm saying, just don't be surprised. And then also when we respond, it's going to be a lot of people. It's going to be other agencies from other departments. It's going to be plainclothes officers. It's going to be, sheriff's departments. You're going to see people in SWAT uniforms. It will be a lot of people. When we had this incident, if I don't know if you guys are working, when we had the Byerly's incident, that Byerly incident we thought was an active shooter, where we got in a shootout with this guy. We believe that he went into Byerly's. We had a security guard that said, "Hey, I saw this guy going to Byerly's." I was the first one there with another officer, and there was officers from all over, from airport, from U.S. Marshals that got there. We formed a line and we swept through that Byerly's, and we had a lady come up and said she saw the shooter. She's in the back of the building, and we locked down. And there was multiple agencies from the metro area out there. And that would happen on any incident of any place that we're at. And you guys were pretty close to that. So just be aware of officers coming in. They're not going to look like the officer with the blue uniform. We're going to locate, contain, and stop the shooter. Everybody in the building is to be considered a suspect. When officers make contact with you, do not run towards them. Keep your hands visible. Respond to their commands. You come out of the building, or if they get you, you may be put in handcuffs. You may be asked to get on the ground. And that's just because we don't know who's who until we can control the situation. So our biggest thing is we ask is that just listen to what they ask you to do. And I guarantee if you're put in handcuffs and once determined, we'll get you out of those handcuffs as fast as we can once we determine you're not the suspect. The main cage with fire, you may have fire department that you're going to go to because they're going to help the injured if you're injured. For the Byerly's, we had a couple buses there to put people in. That's something we would do again. So just be aware that if something like this happens, your biggest thing is to just stay as calm as you can and listen to law enforcement. Injured people, like I said, we go in, then there's a second group that comes in and they start attending to the injured and evacuate him. And that's usually with fire department also. And we talked about that, how to react, remain calm, listen to instructions, put down any items. Don't go back for your personal items. Don't go back for your purses, your keys, your wallets, anything like that. Just get out whatever you have. So situational awareness is, these can occur anytime, anywhere, to anyone. You need to take direct responsibility for your own personal safety and security. I understand that you guys are looking after people, and that is something normal you're going to want to do. And I don't want you guys running down the hall to another room to get to this person. You just take care of yourself and the people that are in that room with you or wherever you're at. I know it sounds cruel, but that's what you need to do is just take care of yourself, take care of whoever's in the room with you. We've done this talk to people at clinics, and they make good points. People in beds who can't defend themselves, then you get in that room and you lock that door and you barricade yourself in that room with that person. So awareness, preparation, and rehearsal. I don't know if your department has done any rehearsals, and the schools do rehearsals at least once, twice a year. And it's something that maybe you guys can talk about and go over your policy and maybe ask what your policy is and what would you do, and clarify that with how would you handle a situation like that, and talk as a group and your bosses and to see what they want you to do.
Yeah, Luke, we haven't, this is all new to us. This is our first training at all. So it is a policy that we want to get in our manual, so that these are good pieces of advice for us when we're establishing the policy and what we need to do.
Okay, yeah. And each business has a different policy, and it's something that you guys, what makes you comfortable, what you think is safest for you and your clients. If you have any questions or want to ask any questions, you're gladly get a hold of me and I can help you with that.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
Your mindset is the biggest thing. Just be positive that you're going to survive and that you're going to make it out of there. Get the basic understanding of the situation and what's going on. Be aware of where you're at, your environment. Preparation, we're doing that right now. You guys are preparing yourself. It's in your head right now. So now when you guys are working and you have a moment, take a look around and find out where your exits are, where your closets are, your doors. What would you do if you heard shots or you heard a threat coming? And just think about it. And then think about that, once a week, once a day, whatever it may be. And I'm not saying dwell on it. And I'm not saying make this a scary thing. It's just if you keep putting in your head, and then, and we really, really hope it never happens. Nobody wants this to happen. And we hope it never happens. And for some reason, if it does, and you have it in your head and you've thought about it, that is going to help you and you're going to survive because of that. We talked about your surroundings. Closing thoughts is you can never truly understand the effects of traumatic situation until you have experienced it. I have experienced it, and I'm telling you, it is, I don't know how to describe it. Is it like the movies? Maybe. It's I had one where it was kind of where it was down nursing home kind of area where the lady and her husband are having going through a divorce. She comes out of work, goes to her car, he shoots her in a car. He's got a gun in the parking lot. We get there. As we're getting there, me and my partner, people are running, people are screaming, people are crying, people are hiding, and we're running, and we get out there and he's got the gun. He put the gun down. We were lucky there and tended to her. And that was, everything's different. The Byerly situation was people just don't know how to react. You got people with guns, officers with guns telling people to get out. And I got people asking if they could finish shopping, if they could check out. If one lady was giggling because she didn't believe us. And so you just don't know what kind of situation you're going to happen, but this, if you prepare yourself and understand that it can happen anywhere, you're going to survive. So this is one of my favorite, I'm going to go back really quick. In your business, in your stuff, as a saying, is just while you're doing that, just take a second every day or once, like I said, and think what would happen, what you would do. Does anybody have any questions? At all?
I don't see anybody, and I don't see anything in the chat right now. So
Okay.
I'm like I said, this is the first that we've presented anything on this. So I'm sure there's a lot of thoughts going on in their mind because clients, of course, are our top priority. So the fact that you say, save yourself, I'm sure that's something that we're going to have to discuss how, what we do with the clients that are involved.
Right.
So you know, I know in my mind, and I'm not even on site every day, I'm thinking, how do I resist that to save myself? So it's interesting points to bring up that we'll have to discuss for sure.
And when I say save yourself, and it is a hard one, and I get the same reaction from a lot of people, it's like there's people that are naturally going to go and assist other people. And I'm not saying, you know, that's bad. And I'm just saying when people do that, and if they don't make it and they're unable to make it to that person or help that person, then it's suddenly they're a victim also. And that adds to our chances of trying to get to you and get to the shooter. Then that's why we say that. It's like you go home, focus on you, but I also understand that the things that you guys are doing in your line of work, that you're there to help people, and you have people there that you are, you know, helping and assisting, and you're not just going to abandon them. That's why I'm saying if you guys go into a room and there's other people there, then yes, everybody works together. But if you're in one room and your client that you're working with is 2 rooms down, you know, they're saying don't go run to your client to go help them, that you stay in that room, and hopefully you guys discuss, or, you know, your client's able to help themselves, you know, or somebody else is there helping them. So it is a tough one.
Yeah,
It is
Luke,
a
it
tough
looks
one.
like Lori might have a question for you. She
Sure.
unmuted herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just kind of reiterate what Stephanie had said. It would be really hard for me not to go try and make sure all the staff are out, make sure all the clients are out, and for me to run out first. So that is, yeah, definitely something that would be really hard for me to do as well.
Right. And I understand that. And I totally hear what you're saying. And it is a tough one, but by doing what you're doing, by running out, saving yourself, you're helping everybody. Does that make sense? A little bit. It's like, but I know, like I said, I do the same line of work, but I would say the same thing. I would be like, I can't just run out myself and not help my coworkers. And so I hear what you're saying, but they are saying, you know, protect yourself, do what you need to do for yourself, and make yourself safe and get out and or hide or whatever. But, you know, so it is something to think about. Any other questions on that? Or like I said, that's a tough one.
Doesn't look like it.
Okay. So as I was saying here, you know, I got a quote, and it says, it's one of my favorite quotes, and can't put the screen, but is Captain Sully. You guys all know or heard about the plane that he landed in the river in New York there, and he survived.
Yep.
Nobody, you know, was injured, or nobody was with death. What he said is, you know, one way of looking at this might be that for 42 years, I'll make a small regular deposit in this bank of experience, education, and training. And on January 15th, the balance was sufficient so that I could make a very large withdrawal. I think it's a great quote. I think it's one of my favorite ones. We may do something over and over and practice something over and over, and we never use it or never think we have to use it. But that day we do, it just came, you made a withdrawal, and he just saved many lives because he went over and over of what would he do if this situation happened or that situation happened, and it happened. And because of his training and because of his beliefs and, you know, everything, he made it out himself, and then he saved his crew and the passengers. And I think that applies to us, and what we do for people is we think about it, we'll practice it, and if it does ever happen, which we hope it never does, we're somewhat prepared. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense. Totally. And it, you know, just reiterates the fact that we need to have, you know, a plan and have something that people can be thinking about. And so it is something in their head that they think about on a daily basis. So this is the plan if this ever happens, and they see it and they work through it. And so, yeah, you know, just tells me how important that is, that we come up with some procedures. Right. Yeah.
You guys have a fairly good secured facility from what I saw.
Yeah.
And there's some places there where, yes, if somebody wanted to get in, they could, you know, and that's almost any building. You you know, even our police department, when we're talking about some things, I mean, it's not a very secured police department if somebody wanted to get in, breaking windows or anything like that, but that's like any building, so.
Well, fortunately or unfortunately, probably they would attempt to get into the main desk area first. They would enter the lobby and get in that way,
Right.
which is very secure. And then it is far enough away from the clients. They do have to go through a lot, you know, a couple doors before they would get to that point. So
Right.
that hopefully can be part of our, you know, plan and our training. So yeah, I feel good about that at least.
Right, and you know, you tell your staff and everything, it's like, what if you do hear a threat or see a threat, you know, call 911.
Right.
And that's your big first thing is, you know, call and then start, you know, looking how you're gonna protect yourself.
Right.
So, and then one thing I also talk about, when you guys go in your building, you know, in your walking through your facility, like I said, you have a lot of rooms that are able to be locked, a lot of closets, and you barricade that with anything that's in there, tables, you know, mops, whatever. And then if you have to protect yourself, look at your normal things, everyday things that you wouldn't think that, you know, how could I use these items? Stapler, what everybody has in a lot of these rooms is hand sanitizers.
Yeah.
You put that in your hand and you throw it in somebody's eyes, it's gonna sting. It's gonna do that. So there's a weapon there you don't know about. Any cleaning thing, you do what you have to do to protect yourself and you use whatever is in that room. So be imaginative, you know, your fire extinguisher, a table, a stapler. That's what I'm telling people is take a look and see what you could use to defend yourself. And you will see that there's a lot of stuff in your rooms that you can use. And a lot of the stuff is just things you don't, you know, you would never think of. And that's hand sanitizer, soap, cleaning detergent, sprays, anything like that. So perfume, you know, things like that, whatever, just to deteriorate them and, you know, take them out.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, you will not get in trouble with the law or anybody else by taking them out because you're defending yourself. You are truly defending yourself and you have every right to do what you need to do to protect yourself in that situation. So, like I said, this is the end of my presentation usually. So if you have any thoughts or any questions, any comments, please feel free. You know, I'll answer anything I can. And then, like I said, I hope that this helped you guys a little bit. And I hope this was what you were looking for. So, and any comments or feedbacks, I appreciate it. Like I said, it's a touchy subject, but is a subject that needs to be discussed, I think. And I do a lot to a lot of facilities and a lot of businesses.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Go ahead. Sorry, Lori, go ahead.
No, I was just thanking him.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
I
welcome.
think that it's great information. It does point out or accentuate the fact that we do have to have a plan in place. I think the video that you showed is great because each site can watch it because it's just information, and then each site can establish their own plan for their particular site. So yeah, I think that this is good for all of our sites to watch, and then each site will have come up with their own active shooter plan. So yeah, I think it has been awesome as far as I can see. In the chat, you know, people have said, one person said it looks, you know, happy. Thank you for the time. It was very informative. So yeah, I think staff got out of it. And like I said, you know, our staff is limited to the time that they can spend on anything. So
Right.
this recording will help not just the staff that was, you know, able to attend, but the other 90 that are, you know, in our staff will have a chance to watch it as well.
And then that run, hide, fight one, it's called Run, Hide, Fight. That's the first video that didn't have sound on it. I apologize. But if they do Google that, even on YouTube, and they should be able to find it, or Google it on, just Google it, they'll come up with that video, and if they want to watch it with sound.
Okay.
It's a good video. Like I said, it is a video that's used nationwide, and that it's been around for a while. And like I said, I just found that new one with the FBI, and that was a good video. I really like that one. It's updated. It's they kind of talk you through it a little bit, which is nice too. So
yeah,
both the videos I thought were really good. So
yeah, no, I did too. I mean, the sound one, but it gave you the idea of what you needed to do. Is just like the second one, you need to get out if you can, hide if you have to and fight if the last
Yep.
resort. So yeah.
Right.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate your
welcome.
time and of course for all that you do for our community. And we really appreciate that. And of course you work closely with us and you guys are always available to us. So we thank you for that as well.
Nope, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. And if you have any more questions, please feel free to email me. If somebody comes up with some other questions or concerns, you can email me or just check in.
Sure, and I have that. If anyone needs it, I have his email address. But again, look, thank you so much. And hopefully we don't ever talk to you about this again, but it'll give us an idea of what we need to do.
Right. Thank you.
Take care.
Yep. Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.